Hello and welcome to Proverb Minutes, where God has written these truths to pierce our hearts and enlighten us to the true nature of creation and character and what is acceptable and what's not acceptable. So let us continue our studies here, and hopefully we will be able to enunciate things clearly today and find those words that'll help us in 2 Corinthians 3:5. Now, not right off the bat, right? Not that we are sufficient of ourselves to think of anything as being from ourselves. How arrogant! But our sufficiency is from God, one breath at a time, who also made us sufficient as ministers of the new covenant, not of the letter, but of the Spirit. For the letter kills, but the Spirit gives life. So what we have here, brethren, is he's telling us that don't think that you're somebody special. Your sufficiency is from that one breath of life that I've given to you. And if you can appreciate that we are couriers, we are couriers of the truth, and that's where our hearts are. We're servants. We assist one another. We help lift one another, encourage one another, make the day more bearable. Don't you watch TV sometimes? Some of these sitcoms like Dick Van Dyke or whatever it may be that McHale's Navy, some of these oldies, Lost in Space, whatever it may be, Star Trek. The newer ones are kind of skewed into a little bit of perversion. But some of those more innocent shows that were back when, they were your friends. Maybe off screen they're different people. Who knows what they are? But the morals, the decency, the love, the loyalty, the camaraderie, the carriers of truth. And that's what we need to be. We need to be friends with all. And to find friends is a hard thing in this world. My dad always said, and some people have said, I've never heard of it, but most people have. If you can count your friends on one hand, you're lucky. And there would be more of that if we were couriers of truth and loyal and bearing with one another instead of condemning one another because of our selfish whims or needs and desires that drift into deception. And I've witnessed that so many times. What's always beaten me back into the bush is when I've been honest. Honesty is crushing. And when they say good men or good people finish last, that's because it's a sense of I told the truth, and now because I'm either a whistleblower or whatever, I'm a courier of truth. The liars don't like that. And they want to bury you as fast as they can. Because the first thing a liar will do is accuse you of lying and then blame you for all the bad things in life. So continuing on now here, as couriers of truth, that's what's in our hearts. It's not the letter that we're looking, because God will forgive a murderer. It's faith that he's looking for. Faith in our hearts, belief beyond a shadow of a doubt that he's coming to help us and save us into that eternal abode that goes beyond the realms of grief and deception where we now exist. And that faith, it gives life. And what gives life? Those principles we've been talking about. The love of it all, the honesty of it all, the sincerity of it all, the confidence that comes along with it. And our sufficiency is from God because we rely on that and not that it's of ourselves. That's the arrogant path of loneliness and anxiety and despair that cripples so many people. Without belief in God, there is no salvation and lifting of the Spirit to those higher levels that are unachievable unless one does actually believe in God beyond a shadow of a doubt. So, that's the truth. And the truth is naked before us. Ephesians 2:8. For by grace you have been saved through faith, and that not of yourselves, it is a gift of God, not of works, lest anyone should boast. What we have here is obviously that God is offering grace through faith, through belief, through dedication, through commitment in heart. And it's not from ourselves, it's a gift of God. There's the equality right there. And it's not of anything that we can do. We can't purchase salvation. And anybody boasting on this, how many people out there that I've witnessed, the arrogant, I'm Christianity on display. These people that are so full of themselves, they're delusional. You remember the movie Catch Me If You Can? That man that in New York that was so desperate for money, he just did anything he could. But he became so many different people: a pilot, a lawyer, a doctor. I mean, amazing intelligence. But the thing is, the bottom line is, what is it to boast? To claim that you're somebody great when you're nothing. Beware, the Bible warns us, beware when you are nothing and you claim to be something. So you brag. You claim to be somebody great. How many people claim they've had education? How many people lie on their resume so they can get a better job, pretending they've done things they have not done? Hey, look at how many guilty people are out there that are unqualified, that claim to be qualified because they flaunt their excellence. They show off. They throw out their chest. Remember now, I call them cloud dwellers. They're full of themselves, and they just can't. They are the narcissist of it all. You know, if that's a typical word that's overused possibly today. However, it's more appropriate that you know, when you get into compulsive liars, pathological liars, these are people that are full of themselves, that don't have a sense of that quality of love, honesty, and sincerity, because they're shallow and fake people. Too many fake people living through the eyes of delusion. So let us try to retrieve ourselves and come to our senses and put on those things that God wants us to practice, so we can have decent hearts and be better with ourselves and others and also our relationship with God. And again, you know, I call them cloud dwellers, and we need to watch out for that. We need to not exalt ourselves or put ourselves on pedestals, because that's where the faith is lost, and the submission to God is placed as Satan did, pride over God. That story of Milton, you know, better to rule in hell than serve in heaven. But God calls out for servants, and if we're not unwilling to serve, if we're only going to serve ourselves, if we're not sharing that gift that God has given to each one of us, no matter what it is, here in 1 Peter 4:10, as each one has received a gift, minister it to one another as good stewards of the manifold grace of God. So what we have here, brethren, is that each one of us has received a gift. Some people can talk maybe to other people freely. Other people can write letters. A husband can be loyal to his wife, loyal to the children, loyal to one another. You know, wives, whoever you may be, but you have a committed heart of truth and honesty. And that in itself is a gift of the manifold grace of God. And as good stewards, it's a gift that each one of us has received in preparing meals. If someone has a wealth of a philanthropist, you know, giving money to the good deeds, the charities, you know, helping me out. You know, I'm not a financially set person in life, but I have received gifts, and I'm sharing them with you in this video here to help one another, help us. Because whatever your gift is, it's going to fulfill you. It's going to give you that purpose in life. And purpose is what drives us forward. Because if we lose our purpose, brethren, then we lose our lives, because that's what you fall into despair and anxiety, and you just feel sorry for yourself all day. How is it that nobody ever seems to have a new joke, a clean joke? It's just amazing to me that people, you ask them, you got a joke? Oh, no, I don't have a joke. Well, come on. Come on. Have we lost our heart, our simple hearts as children in the manifold grace of God? He wants us to be with one another as good stewards. You know, does he want bad stewards? He doesn't want bad stewards, somebody that's, you know, pretending they think that godliness is great gain. And so they lie and they cheat to gain advantage. And then they pilfer off of the funds that are collected from the meek. The greedy, envious people up there at the top that are misusing funds, even in business or charities. You know, the Salvation Army probably pays for itself and its administration more than it should, from the research that I've seen. So it's hard to decipher where goodness lies, because deception is such a wall of obscurity that can fool the most of us. And honest people, remember now, the shrewd steward, the unjust stewards are more shrewd than the children of light. So we can, you know, with honest hearts, loving hearts, that's a good thing to be. But we can be taken advantage of, so we need to be careful in that. But as good stewards, we need to not be bad stewards. And those are the three qualities that why things have been written to us. To explain that we need to be honest in love, and sincere in our faith. And that these things are to be ministered to one another, to be shared. What is it to minister? To minister is to care for one another, to look after whatever it may be, our pets, our plants, our extended families, whatever they may be. We care for all the people, even those that would afflict against us, because then we turn our enemies into our friends, if they can accept that. And too blind are they more often than not. And so we wait on the Lord, and we wait on others too to support us and to support them in return. We support the way we can. And that's what it is to minister, is to do what we can. And that gets into the manifold grace, which are those principles of love, sincere faith, and being honest, being truthful. Those are the things that God expects, the qualities that he wants to come out of us. And after all, the gifts and the calling of God are irrevocable. What does that mean? Well, his gifts are reality. Why is it easy to remember the truth and you can't remember the lies? I mean, people that lie to me, it's easy to see them because 1, 2, 3, their story's different 3 times over. Strike out. You know, smart people aren't foolish. We may be quiet. We may be reserved. We may be patient and all these other things. But you're not going to be able to fool a true heart with the lying that you do. And it's a shame that there's so many liars in life. I could go on and on for hours about the liars and the lies that they've given to me in life. And it's a shame that also that liars more often succeed in life. And that's because they're crafty, they're shrewd. But the calling of God, the calling is to the truth. And if you really want to have that assurance of being confident that God is going to retrieve us back to heaven and an eternal home, we need to have those qualities of love, sincere heart, and honesty in our hearts with one another. And that's the irrevocability of it all. God doesn't cancel love. God doesn't cancel faith. God does not cancel having honest, truthful hearts. So the synonyms for irrevocable, it's a final thing. It's binding. Love is binding. Truth is binding. You know, who we are is what it's going to become. It's irreversible. If we're constantly playing a two-sided, two-faced game, gossiping, backstabbing, those things are irreversible, and God sees those. And that's the truth of it. So either we're good or we're bad. And he doesn't want bad stewards, because what's permanent is permanent. And we certainly want that upward call to take us home back to heaven, instead of that downward call of existence into the darkness where the chains of Satan and his band of bandits are ready to be extinguished in the absence of God's grace. Well, I thank you for coming to Proverb Minutes. I hope this hasn't been too long. Let's just get together and help one another. Go out and say hi. Learn a dumb joke. You know, what's a cute door? What do you call a cute door? Adorable. You know, some of these little jokes, you know, break the rift of oh, you know, we've come to a trustless society. Trust no one is the motto. So to be friendly breaks that barrier down, and let us then return to those things that God would want us to be. We'll be a better society. We'll be a better country. You know, when I was young, we knew the people all around the streets. The streets over, neighborhoods, people kept their doors unlocked. And this was even in the Berkeley Hills. You know, things were open back then, trusting. So we've lost that sense of trust for one another, where we don't even talk to one another. And that's the truth. And if we want things to be permanent, we need to go out and make the effort. Let us return then to God. And we'll be better off for it. Hey, we'll see you on the next ride. Bye for now.